Content is intended to provide accurate information, however, is not intended as financial, tax, or legal advice. Please consult a financial, legal, or tax professional for specific information regarding your individual situation. Opinions expressed and provided are for general informational purposes only and should not be considered a solicitation for the purchase or sale of any security.
Cornerstone Retirement Partners presents Your Course to Retirement with Grand Rapids Certified Financial Planner Ron Corser and Nolan Gosley. Cornerstone Retirement Partners are planning today for the potential of tomorrow.
And welcome into the program. This is Your Course to Retirement with Grand Rapids Resource for a common sense approach to planning for perspective on your money, your investments, your finance. He is Ron Corser, CFP, certified financial planning professional, and our go-to for helping to clarify the financial world, to uncomplicate some of those decisions that you are needing to make with your money. And Ron, no easy task in today's world. As we normally start off the program, we talk about some of the current issues that we are facing, some of the difficulties with our money, and then, of course, bring the conversation around and talk about some solutions and some strategies that we can implement to improve our financial future and our progress.
You know, it's become even more important these past 3 months or so with all the uncertainty going on around us to answer some really basic questions. And for some reason in my brain, as you were talking, I thought about a rainbow, and at the end of that rainbow is a pot of gold, right? We're always as investors, as savers, we're always looking for that pot of gold. And I suppose one of the ways we try to do that is to find that little green guy there, whoever is guarding that pot of gold, and get him to tell us where it is. But for investors and for us normally, ladies and gentlemen, the pot of gold, here's a key question to find that pot of gold. What is it you want your money to do for you? And given where you are today, do you have a plan in place that gives you what you hope will be the answer to what I want my money to do? It's a really key question. What is it I want my money to do? So before we go too much farther in this presentation, ladies and gentlemen, if you've ever asked yourself that question, or somebody's ever asked that question of you, and you need an answer because it's difficult to sometimes answer, what it is I want my money to do, and is it doing it? Give us a call at Cornerstone Retirement Partners, 616-301-2581, 616-301-2581, or go to our website, www.cornerstone-rp.com. That's www.cornerstone-rp.com. Put your information in there and we'll answer your question as best we can. So it really gets down to, how do we find that pot of gold? But it's a journey. Most things in life are journeys. Saving for retirement is a journey. Trying to figure out how to live long enough to spend most of your money in retirement, but not all of it, going broke, is a journey. So the key question to this journey is, how am I going to get there? What do I want my money to do? And why do I bring that up? The last 3 months have really been interesting 3 months for investors. We have inflation that's not going to go away. That's a real problem, regardless of what the government bureaucrats say. We have a lot of turmoil going on in the political world over in Europe. We have a lot of saber rattling and a lot of things going on. The price of gas is going up. You know, I look at gas and I think a lot of people do. It's not a fun thing to experience, but gas is kind of one of those little canary in a coal mine. It's not the terrible problem, but it is something that's leading to a bigger problem. And we do have some major problems economically now going on with inflation, certainly, but inflation covers a wide variety of things, doesn't it? It covers how much we pay for a box of Cheerios. It covers how much, we pay for milk. It covers how much we pay for gas. It covers a wide variety of things. How much input, where are we going to get wheat for our country to create foodstuffs? It's a very complicated web that we're dealing with here in this inflation thing. But when it gets down to us as individuals, asking ourselves, what do we want our money to do? And is our money set up in a way right now? Do we have a strategy? Is it doing that? Really important questions. really important. You know, last year was a pretty good year in the market despite all the nonsense that was going on with COVID. And I think a lot of people got used to the fact that markets should go up 10% a year or something like that. But historically, that's not been the case over time. But when we take a look at a short-term response in the market, it went up. Therefore, it should go up tomorrow if it went up yesterday. Or the reverse, it went down yesterday, therefore it should go down farther tomorrow. Those kind of things really work against us creating a good plan for our retirement life and creating an investment strategy if we're not retired. The key point is all of this is if you know what you want your money to do and you've set up a strategy, a process, whatever you want to call it, and you think you're on track to do that, then you've got everything pretty much handled, at least on a day-to-day basis. So what we're going to talk about today is what are the things we want our money to do and how do we get our money to do that? I want my money to grow. Most people do. They want it to be more tomorrow than it is today or was yesterday. But how do we get to do that? And there's a wide variety of ways to do that. We can, strictly market-based, we're going to talk today a lot about insurance products, particularly annuities, and what they do well and what they don't do well. Because it's really important to understand that no matter what strategy or no matter what you choose as the bucket, so to speak, to put your money into, there's certain things it does well, and there's certain things it just is miserable at doing. We've said before a lot on this program that really money and cash is not a good multitasker. A $1 bill is not good at doing everything we need it to do. So that we have to figure out then where to allocate our $1 bills as we're saving to retirement or going into retirement so that the whole plan gives us the best opportunity to get what we want. It's not just one thing. So we're going to focus today on annuities. And I really enjoy talking about them because I own them. I have a lot of clients that own them. And as long as we understand what they do well and what they don't do well and where they may or may not fit in a portfolio, it could be a great time for everybody just to take some notes. So give us a call, 616-301-2581, 616-301-2581, or go to our website, www.cornerstone-rp.com. Put your information in there and we'll get a hold of you and contact you. So we're going to talk about how do we get your money to do what we want to do? And one of the ways we're going to touch on this is something called annuities. And it's kind of like the good, the bad, the ugly of them. They can't be all bad. Believe me, they can't be all bad. So we're going to keep going on this now.
Yeah. And Ron, when you mentioned the good, the bad, the ugly, I think that's an important point when we're talking about any specific or particular investment deployment option. Is we've had programs where we talk just about the market. We've had programs where we've talked about mutual funds, stocks, bonds, ETFs. We've talked about income, investments, taxation, holistic planning, healthcare, legacy. When you're talking about any of those particular and specific investment options, banks, there's always going to be good and bad and ugly. There is no one place that is a perfect solution or a solve-all for any financial issue. And every coin having two sides, there's also no financial option, I think, that is always categorically evil or the wrong approach. There are simply choices. There are benefits and disadvantages to every one of the choices that are out there. And there's a time and a place where each of these choices could be considered to be maybe appropriate or inappropriate. And we just have to carefully examine our situation, our goals, and what specific choice or option is most appropriate to help us achieve those.
I'm reminded, I used to be a really big baseball fan, and I still am kind of a baseball fan. I know you are too. Think about this. The most successful pitchers in the major leagues have at least 4 pitches that they can use. Now, I suppose if you threw a fastball at 105 miles an hour, you could get by with 1 if you had control. But if that's the only pitch you have, these baseball players are good enough to figure it out and hit 105 miles an hour. So most good pitchers have control, obviously. And think about that. because you need control over your investments, your planning strategy and everything. But they also have 4 pitches. They have 4 approaches to getting a guy out, to achieving their objective. So if major league pitchers can have 4 pitchers and sometimes 5 and variations on those, doesn't it make sense that as investors and as people planning for retirement and trying to create an income strategy for themselves, that we would have more than 1 pitch to try to achieve our objective? Most people will say, yeah, that makes great sense. So you need a fastball, a curve, a changeup, a splitter, and some of these other goofy itinerations and stuff like that. But you need more than 1 pitch. It's the same when it comes to income planning, retirement planning. You need more than 1 solution. Why do I bring that up? Because we're faced almost in a bipolar world at times with advertising that we see. On one side, there's institutions and investment companies that say the stock market is a solution to everything and all your problems.
Yep.
On the other side, we have people who advertise locally and things that say, nope, you know what, protecting your money, putting it in protected places, it's not going to go up, but you won't lose money. 3-pound coffee can, that's the best solution. But both of those sides are like the pitcher in the major leagues that only has 1 pitch. Think about that. With 1 pitch, he's not going to make it to the Hall of Fame, even if he's Satchel Paige. So let's talk about different approaches here and different things we can put into a retirement plan that might make some sense. So if some of this is making sense already to you listening to this program, give us a call, 616-301-2581, or go to our website, www.cornerstone-rp.com. Put your information in there and we will contact you. Now, a lot of what we're going to talk about today, these are things that have come in conversations with our clients when we do our reviews periodically, and they've also come with people who have literally put their information in on our website and said, what do you think about this? Or I heard this, or I've been told that. So let's go forward and let's talk about annuities. Let's first say, what in the world is an annuity?
Right? Yeah, that'd be a great place to start, kind of a high level, because they seem to be the source of a lot of confusion, Ron.
It is. And a lot of it is there's just enough good information in there to make people hesitant as there is bad information. In the simplest form, what I tell people, here's an annuity. If you think of everything that we do as a savings account, an annuity is a particular kind of savings account with a life insurance company. If you have money in the stock market, that's a particular kind of savings and investing account in the stock market with whoever you have it. If you own bonds, treasury bonds, that's a savings account basically with the United States Treasury. If you think about everything as a savings account, then an annuity is a savings account with a life insurance company that does some things that other kinds of places to put your money don't. So let's take a look at what that does well, what they're designed to do, and what you need to be aware of. It would be the same conversation if we were talking about mutual funds in this program. You know, mutual funds, everybody's very familiar with them, at least superficially, because they have them in their 401k and IRA. But mutual funds are interesting creatures in that they're cobbled together in a lot of different ways. Some are more complicated than others, but it's another strategy. It's another bucket to put money in. So if we think about an annuity as a savings vehicle with an insurance company, there are 2 primary different kinds of annuities. And this is really the place where a lot of confusion comes in and a lot of bad press. The first kind of annuity is what's called a variable annuity. It has mutual funds inside of a life insurance wrapper. The principal is not protected. The value can go up if the markets go up. The value can go down if the markets go down. They're the ones that typically get the most heat for having high fees and charges to them. There are internal charges on these things that you can actually find out be anywhere between 2 and as much as 4% on the high side. But that money internally is generated off of your investment principal, and that goes to the insurance company, the mutual fund companies, and everybody else before you get the first dime up of income or profit. The other kind of annuity, in a very general sense, is what, and this is jargon, it's called a fixed, F-I-X-E-D annuity. Simply put, it's a principal protected account. Now, A variable annuity with mutual funds in it is nothing more than another option for stock market investing. It's just another way to invest. A fixed annuity is a principal protected product. It is not a substitute for the stock market, even though sometimes they are sold in a way that seems to say you get some upside of the market, but you won't lose downside when the markets go down. From my point of view as a fiduciary and a certified financial planner, I think that's an incorrect way to present these kinds of products and accounts to clients. A fixed annuity is really another substitute for bank money. Think about this. If banks right now, CDs, were paying 5%, as a CFP, as a fiduciary, I would have to look you in the eye if you were my client, Peter, and say, you have to put some money in the bank to get that 5%. And most people would say, absolutely, I'm going to put money in there.
Right.
But that's not going to happen now or probably in the foreseeable future.
Even after the Fed has said that they will raise interest rates, I think it's going to be a while before we see those kind of rates and those days where we can walk in a bank and get that kind of interest rate of return on our deposit, Ron, unfortunately.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I may have to live to be 114 to see those high interest rates come back again. So you have two different variations of something called an annuity, and they have two very, very different uses. The variable annuity is strictly another way to invest in the stock market. It has mutual funds in it. The principal protected or fixed annuity is a substitute for the bank money, the principal protected money. Very different uses. It would be as if you decide to go downhill skiing. I'm quite sure if you were going to go downhill skiing, you wouldn't just try to do it on a skateboard. That would be dangerous. That would be a catastrophic event. You'd be misusing something that works in one situation and you'd be misapplying it to another. So going forward now, keep this difference in mind, because we're going to focus more on the fixed or principal protected annuity in this program. So if anything I'm starting to talk about is of interest to you, if you want to learn more about, is an annuity something you should even consider in your long-term investment plan, give us a call at 616-301-2581, 616-301-2581, or go to our website, www.cornerstone-rp.com. Put your information in there and we will contact you and help you out with it wherever we can. So let's start to focus now on where we are on the annuity part, which is nothing more than, I think, a savings account with an insurance company. And we're concentrating on what's called a fixed annuity. And there are variations in those too.
A subcategory of a subcategory here, I guess.
There are.
And Ron, I mentioned that annuities can be confusing with everything that we hear. And I think people tend to shy away from anything that seems confusing. And there is some just cause to the perception that these are a little bit confusing or complicated, with the fact that we are now talking about kind of a subset of a subset within the category of annuities. But I also would like to compare this to other alternatives, right? Is a bank account has checking, savings, CD, money market. There are subsets of that description. Stocks, there are large cap, small cap, mid cap, growth, value, mutual funds. Similarly, there are growth funds, aggressive growth funds, international, growth and income, and those kinds of choices and options oftentimes break down into, well, let's get a little bit more specific about what we're looking for within this class or this category. And if we do that with annuities, we uncomplicate a lot of the noise and a lot of the confusion around them, I feel.
You know, it's an interesting thing when it comes to is something complicated or not complicated. It depends on a couple things. It would depend on if I were trying to describe a certain kind of mutual fund to you, I would have to go out what I call, we got to go into the weeds just a little bit. Most of us as consumers of investment products, all we know is we have 401ks and we have mutual funds in them, and we pick a mutual fund. We don't generally have a lot of in-depth knowledge of how a specific mutual fund works. We don't know if it has a combination of stocks and bonds in it, how they make decisions on buying stocks, what decision criteria they use for the bonds in there, how do they put it together. We never seem to go there. But when it comes to annuities, one of the complaints you hear is that they're very complicated, and they can be depending on who's trying to describe them or if they're describing them. So it gets down to that. So when it comes to that fixed annuity, here's how I would describe it to somebody. This is a particular kind of financial account. It's a substitute for bank money. I can use the word guarantee on it, just like I can with FDIC insurance, because there are guarantees on it. So I can use that word there. I can't use the guarantee when it comes to mutual funds. I can't use the guarantee when it comes to variable annuities, but I can use that word here. It is designed primarily to provide income to whomever owns the annuity. It is an income vehicle. It is not a growth vehicle. There can be some growth to it, but its primary purpose is to generate predictable, guaranteed income over a specific amount of time or the lifetime of whomever owns it. Think about this. The Social Security benefit that we get is a form of an annuity, an immediate income annuity, but it's payment going to last forever until you die, no matter what happens. If you have a pension, that's another form of an annuity. It's an immediate income annuity. What's the difference between an immediate income annuity and a principal protected deferred annuity? It's in the definition. Deferred means I'm going to put some money into this thing and I'm going to defer taking income out of it until sometime down the road. And it can be set up to provide another stream of predictable, permanent income in your retirement plan. That's where it is really, really appropriate. So we've talked a lot about generating income in retirement because that's the whole key to having a successful retirement, having enough income in retirement to retire. And the more permanent, predictable income you can have, the more secure your retirement plan is going to be. We're going through a terrible time right now in the market and around us. But for those people who are clients, who we've worked through, who we've used these kinds of accounts to generate permanent income, they don't have a worry about, okay, am I going to get all the income I need this month, or is it going to go down, or am I going to have to make some changes? Because these things have been structured in a way to provide income for them that they cannot live. And that serves the purpose. What do I want my money to do? I want it to provide income in retirement so that I can maintain my lifestyle. So that's what it does. There's a lot of different ways to approach what it does. And we're going to talk about that now. Different ways to generate income out of this thing called an annuity, a principal protected fixed annuity. So if this is of interest to you, ladies and gentlemen, give me a call, 616-301-2581, 616-301-2581, or go to our website, www.cornerstone-rp.com. Always remember, a very successful major league pitcher has more than one pitch. The really good ones have 4 of them that they have great control over. And they're going to go into the Hall of Fame if they get it right. So for us as investors, we get to go in the Hall of Fame if we got more than one pitch when it comes to our retirement plan, and if we can control those pitches to give us what we need to make sure that our money will do what we want it to do.
Well, when you mention principal protected, I think that's a quality that a lot of people would find appealing right now. When you mentioned that you can use the word guaranteed with this, most anything when it comes to our money, there are limitations on where and when that word can be used. And certainly with nothing in the market can that be a word associated with our expectations for results. Guaranteed is something that is always mentioned in the disclaimer. Results are not guaranteed. Past performance is not an indicator of future results. But where we can look at and talk about protecting principal from downside market risk, no risk of losses in the market, when we can talk about guarantees for future retirement income, I think that those qualities would be appealing to many people. And in fact, if I think the average saver, investor, Ron, who is retirement minded, kind of listed out their ideal qualities with their money, their ideal goals for what their dollars could achieve, those two things would be pretty high on the list. It would maybe not be a comprehensive list of everything, but those two qualities would certainly be included. And the fact that it's not a comprehensive list, that's why you're talking about, we've got multiple pitches. We've got different options that we would use in different circumstances, in different times, and different places for different reasons.
Yeah, absolutely. It's absolutely right, spot on. And the thing about this is that if we really sit down and say, what do we want our money to do? I think it becomes pretty obvious that we want it to do a lot of things, but that $1 is not going to do everything. So we have to take certain dollars and put them into our fastball. Just keep with this now. We have certain dollars into our curve, certain dollars into the splitter, certain dollars to the changeup, whatever we want to do. You don't put all your arm strength into just one pitch. You develop a bunch of different pitches. And that's how we have to approach, I think, the retirement puzzle, if you will, about how do we get the income we need, not only for today, but make sure it's permanent and will stay there for as long as we live. So give us a call, ladies and gentlemen, 616-301-2581, 616-301-2581, or go to our website, www.cornerstone-rp.com. Put your name and number in there. We'll contact you and help you out. Ask us any question about annuities, about anything. I don't have the winning Powerball number, so if that's what you want to know, we're not going to be able to help you out there. But about anything else, we'll talk to you about. So give us a call, 616-301-2581.
We are talking with certified financial planning professional Ron Corser, CFP, Grand Rapids, your resource for perspective, guidance, advice specific to your situation and your financial goals. If you would like to ask any question, if you would like to sit down for a complimentary financial investment and retirement strategy session, if you would like to review or update or double check current plans and investment accounts, pick up the phone and give a call. That's to Cornerstone Retirement Partners, 616-301-2581. Ron Corser and his team, looking forward to hearing from you. 616-301-2581. Quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk more with CFP certified financial planning professional and your resource, Ron Corser, here on Your Course to Retirement in just a moment.
Cornerstone Retirement Partners presents Your Course to Retirement with Grand Rapids Certified Financial Planner Ron Corser and Nolan Gosley. Cornerstone Retirement Partners are planning today for the potential of tomorrow. Visit cornerstone-rp.com for many valuable resources, including those mentioned on this show and other great episodes of Your Course to Retirement.
And we're back here on Your Course to Retirement, the weekly program aimed at helping you be more educated and informed and making more effective decisions with your money. We always turn to the guidance of CFP, Certified Financial Planning Professional Ron Corser, the founder of Cornerstone Retirement Partners. And his team, ladies and gentlemen, is your resource there. Grand Rapids, all surrounding areas. If you are a saver, investor, serious about planning for your financial future, pick up the phone and give them a call. Be in touch and find out what Ron and his team have there to offer as your resource. 616-301-2581, 616-301-2581. Ron, you mentioned before the break, and we were talking a little bit during the break about the Powerball. It seems so easy to pick those numbers after the Powerball numbers are released, right? After they come out down the chute and they're showing all of those little ping pong balls with the numbers, you look at them and you say, oh, well, that wouldn't have been so hard to guess after the fact. But before the fact, the chances are not very good. We'll put it that way. Basically slim to none of being bit by a shark and struck by lightning in the same year and attacked by a bear that you could actually pick those, but they just seem so easy after the fact. We are talking about some financial choices and options today on the program. Now, it's not that hard, not as hard as picking those Powerball numbers to find winners or potential gains within the market, but it's also not guaranteed. And so today we're talking about some options where you can, with some certainty, some reliance and predictability of results, understand what will happen in the future with your money.
You can, and I know I'm going to beat that horse out there a little bit more, and I don't mean to, because I like horses, although they scare me sometimes if they're really big, like them Clydesdales. If you think about this, we always want something specific. So I'm going to put this out there to people and ask them just to consider this. If the whole investment strategy, if the whole investment idea is to beat the S&P 500 or match it, if that's your whole goal, then the only way to approach that is to buy an S&P 500 exchange traded fund of some kind, and then put some options contracts on it and try to have a little extra growth on top of it. So one of the key, I think, sometimes where we run off the rails and we go into the ditch a little bit is to say, I want my money to grow. And sometimes we, in the back of our mind, think, I want it to beat the market or stay up with the market, but I don't want it to lose as much. You can't do both. You can either be in the market totally or not in the market totally, but you can't have market growth with less than market volatility, if that's your goal. So why do I bring this up? Because wouldn't it be a better goal to save? Let's really back up and try to figure out what I'm doing. And this is where annuities come into play, because annuities can provide predictable, guaranteed, permanent income. I'm going to retire in 5 days or 5 years. How much income do I need every month coming into my checkbook to maintain my lifestyle in retirement? That's a much better benchmark, because think about this. This has been a terrible quarter for the stock market. It really has been. So anybody who's been counting on growth from the market, if they're fully invested in the market, has not gotten it. That means it doesn't matter if they wanted a 10% annualized rate of return, they haven't gotten it this quarter. But what if the income goal was such that I need $5,000 more a month coming in over above Social Security and pension to maintain my lifestyle? That changes the whole way we look at retirement planning. It's not then based on, oh, I got to get all the market, because if you're going to get all the market, you're going to get it on the upside and downside. It's rather, what can I use? What's out there that I can use to help me get that income number I need every month without putting all my money into one bucket? I don't want to be a one-pitch pitcher. I want to be well diversified, and diversified is more than large cap, small cap, baseball cap, hub cap. It really is diversified from different streams of income coming in. The most successful people in retirement have at least 4, and the really good ones have as much as 6 different income streams in retirement. That gives them the best shot at a secure, peace of mind kind of retirement. So if we think about that, if we think about where can I put my money, one of the places is the stock market. Another place might be the bond market. Another place might be emergency funds in the bank. Another place could very well be, maybe I should take a look at this thing called an annuity, which is a savings account with a life insurance company, to see if it can provide predictable, guaranteed income, maybe income that'll even increase over time. So if we're adding more pitches, so to speak, to keep this metaphor going, it makes great sense to say, you know what, this is something I should look at. Now, what's out there that says, you know, there's people out there that advertise on TV and in Wall Street Journal, I hate annuities and so should you.
I've heard them.
Yeah. Well, here's mine for everybody out there. I hate broccoli and liver, and so should you. So does that mean you should never have broccoli and liver? I don't know, people do. My wife, Nancy, loves liver. When she orders it in a restaurant, I just kind of have to hide a lot. But just because that's what I think, is that really what everybody should hate? Or I really love the stock market. That's the only solution to everything. That may or may not be on any given day. So when anybody says, this is my opinion on a particular approach to investing your money, doesn't it make good sense to say, tell me more? Tell me why you say what you're saying. Ron, if you think annuities, particularly principal protected annuities, are great potentially for people who want predictable, more permanent income in a retirement plan, show me why and tell me why. And then, since I know nothing's perfect, tell me what the downsides are. Tell me what these annuity things don't do so well. So what are some of those things that doesn't do so well? Particularly these principal protected or fixed annuities. They're not going to give you market gains. You'll get some upside. You will. But I tell people expect 3 to 5% on a good year. That sounds like not very much. But it's not considered a growth vehicle. So don't do it that way. Think of it as an income vehicle, like the old time CDs that would pay 3 to 5 that you could peel off income from. So one of the things it doesn't do well, it won't give you all the market. What does it do well with respect to that? Well, it's principal protected. You can't lose money. You can't go backwards in it. So maybe that's a valuable asset to have. What's another issue? Well, it has expenses and costs in there. I just can't find them. And that's true. We can show you, we can dig out, and we have a 6-step process for people who have a variable annuity and don't know how much it's really costing. Give us a call. 616-301-2581, 616-301-2581. We can do a really deep dive, ask the right questions of the insurance company that created the variable annuity, and you will know exactly what you're paying for that. You'll be able to see the cost. With a fixed annuity, it's pretty hard to see it. They're there, but I don't know what they are, nor does the vice president of the company know what they are, because they're put together by basically actuaries. So there's a cost there. So all we know is we're not going to get a 10% growth a year, generally speaking, but we're going to be principal protected. So what else does this thing do that's reasonably appropriate? They can be great vehicles when it comes to dealing with long-term care issues. How do we fund long-term care? That's a big issue with people. Sure. And an annuity with a long-term care rider on it, or a chronic illness rider, just like a life insurance product, can be a very, very valuable asset to have. Not only does it provide income, but it can give you some protection, if you will, with the cost of long-term care. Now, remember I said earlier in the program, there's no one thing that does everything perfectly. Principal protected fixed annuities are not growth vehicles. They're a substitute for the bank old-time CD money. They can be structured in a way that will give you permanent lifetime income, even on an increasing basis. The principal is protected and guaranteed. There are costs involved. I just don't know what they are, and I can't find them. I admit that. So what else does it do or not do? It is not the best place in the world for all your money. It really isn't. There's no best place in the world for all your money. We kind of intuitively know that. We tend to place more of all of our money into the stock market. We have a little bit in the bank. But principal protected fixed annuities are for a portion of your money. The portion being how much extra income do I need over and above what I've already got with Social Security and a pension and things like that coming in to be permanent. It's not for all your money. It's not a very liquid product. What do I mean by that? If you put $100,000 into a fixed annuity, you can't go out there tomorrow and get all $100,000 back. There are things, and this is on variable annuities also. Surrender costs. The cost, these are commission-based products. The costs are amortized over time. You do have some liquidity in them. You can take out 10% a year of whatever you put in or the account value, depending on the account, after the first year. Here's the other parts to it. You can create a stream of income that you can never outlive. You can also, if bad things happen in your life, for example, you have to go into a facility, you need nursing home care. Generally, if you qualify, you can't do 2 to 6 activities of daily living. The annuity company, if it's structured that way, will give you all your money back. No questions asked. If the doctor looks at you with a long face and says, you know what, Peter, I'm sorry, but maybe you got a year, they'll give you all the money back. So it's not for all your money. It's for a portion of your money to provide income. But when bad things happen in life to some of us, there's ways to get access to all of that money. So it's not as terrible as it sounds, but it has to be structured properly. So if this is of interest to you, because it really is a great benefit for a lot of things, but just doesn't do everything well, give us a call. You can learn more about it. We'll help you. No questions asked, just education. Give us a call at 616-301-2581, 616-301-2581, or go to our website, www.cornerstone-rp.com. Put your information in there and we'll reach out to you and help you. There's nothing under, there's nothing under the sun that's new. Annuities have been around since Roman times. There's all kinds of different approaches to it. The more you know, add more pitches to your repertoire. If you've got 4 good ones, you're going to the Hall of Fame. If you only got one, it's going to be a little hard. So give me a call, 616-301-2581. We can help you with this thing called retirement income planning and do a really good job for you.
Again, Ron, when we list out the qualities that we would like from our money or any specific investment option, if we could sort of design our own, I think that a few that would certainly be in contention toward the top of that list are that we are principal protected. We've got safety against the possibility of money disappearing without us having spent it, that we have protection against losses from the market, that we've got the ability to generate an income from it, consistent, reliable, dependable income, a lifetime income. The fact that you've thrown in there that it's got some healthcare benefits, that certainly would be another quality that I think a lot of people would like to list and would address some of the concerns on the minds of savers and investors. So those things are important. And I think that with those things worth considering. Now, again, nothing is all benefits and no disadvantages. So we've got to weigh carefully how much of our money, what dollars we dedicate to any choice or option. But I think that one of the big reasons that a lot of annuities have had kind of a negative connotation and negative discussion. You mentioned Social Security in the first half of the program. Now, Social Security offers a few of those similar qualities: safety for a predictable, guaranteed stream of income. And we enjoy and appreciate that. But what Social Security and or a pension from a company don't do is, if we have received that income, but we pass away prematurely, they don't pass the rest of those assets on to our beneficiaries. That kind of disappears into the ether or goes back to the government or to the company to pay other people our money just because they've lucked out and lived longer. And I think that's one of the reasons why, even with those qualities of protection of principal, safety against market losses, predictability, guaranteed lifetime income or income over a specific period that we set it up for. And even with those healthcare benefits, I think that potential loss of our principal investment is a big reason why they have received that kind of negative connotation and feeling from some savers or investors, or at least it's something to discuss in that spectrum of pros and cons and benefits and potential disadvantages.
And let me throw out a $5 word for everybody. It's called annuitization. It took me about 4 years to learn how to spell that, but it's a $5 word. What it simply means is, if you have an annuity and you annuitize it, that means you take all the money in that annuity and you give it to an insurance company, and they promise you lifetime income, either joint survivor with your wife, your spouse, or just on your own life. And yes, when one or both of those people die, all of it goes away. Compare that now with, we might call the newfangled annuities, the one that exists out there. They have lifetime income benefit rider options, but they're not that $5 word called annuitization. You don't give all your money away to the insurance company, and when you or your spouse dies, it all goes away. You can create out of these new annuities, you can create lifetime predictable income, even income that could increase over time. And if you die and your spouse dies and there's money left over, it goes to your beneficiaries. It doesn't go away. You don't annuitize it. That's a real benefit. It really is, because it gives you access to your money if you really needed it, but you know down deep inside that if there's anything left when you die, it's going to go to your heirs, your beneficiaries. The money you work so hard for, your lifetime of income, is going to go to the next generation. It's going to be kept in the family. And I think that's an important distinction to make when it comes to talking about the benefits and also the liabilities, if you will, if I can use that word, of principal protected annuities. But it's a real advantage knowing that you don't give away the money. You get to use it, keep it, or pass it on to the next generation, keep it in the family.
Yeah. And it's there during your lifetime to provide that consistent income. Those healthcare benefits, Ron, those are attractive. The fact that if we do have a serious kind of healthcare condition, it actually either frees up more of our money, or many of these increase the amount of income for a period of time until the account balance runs to zero. Perhaps the thing is, in comparison to other alternatives where we could just pull out more of our money if we wanted to under those circumstances, is after we do so, the asset and the income have been depleted and are gone. Whereas with the annuity alternative, we continue to have a contractual guarantee, at least for that baseline lifetime income. You run out of money because of an extensive healthcare kind of event, or just because of a long lifetime. And then you have a contractual guarantee where the company, the financial vehicle, just continues to pay you. That's, I think, again, something to be considered in the pros and cons of what certain financial vehicles can and can't do. That's got to be listed as one of the strengths of the annuities.
I believe it is, because when we talk to clients or potential clients about, is an annuity right for you? If so, what kind? If so, how much should we put into there? One of the benefits we always talk about is, God may let you live a long time. You can live so long that this particular annuity account can go to $0 value and it'll still keep paying you income. That's pretty incredible. That is pretty incredible.
That's a type of return on. I'm sorry to interrupt, but that's a type of return on investment, Ron, that any other financial vehicle just simply does not provide to us.
Nope. If you got money with Fidelity or even our firm, and we use TD Ameritrade, if that account goes to zero, they don't call you up and say, Peter, you've been such a good guy. We really like you. I know you don't have any more money, but we're going to still send you monthly income. Probably not going to happen. Probably not. But with an insurance company, with an annuity, it does and will happen. So it's another key consideration of saying, how do I structure my life savings, the stuff I've worked so hard for? How do I structure it in a way to protect as much as I can on the downside? Because I know if I live a long time in retirement, markets are going to go down, they're going to go up, they're going to go sideways. How do I structure it so that my spouse and I can get the income we need in retirement to maintain our lifestyle and have peace of mind? And if the good Lord calls me home sooner than later, how do I make sure that it goes to my children or grandchildren in the way I wanted it to? These are things we talk about. These are processes and plans we put in place. And keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that this is just one of the pitches you need to be a 4-pitch pitcher to get into the Hall of Fame. It's one part of the entire retirement plan. I know there are people out there that sell these things as this is the only and ultimate solution for everything. I don't agree with that. I think that's, as a fiduciary, I can't do that because I have to always try to do what's in the best interest of the client. And also when it comes to just being a fiduciary, I might touch on this. How does it make any sense if I claim to be a fiduciary trying to do what's in the best interest of the client? How does it make sense that I don't talk about everything that's out there to make sure that we've covered all the bases? How do I say I'm a fiduciary, but I only think we should keep all your money in the stock market? I don't understand how that is appropriate and still call yourself a fiduciary. How do you call yourself a fiduciary if you say everything you have to have has to be an insurance product and annuities? I don't get that. To me, it doesn't make sense. Being a fiduciary means that it's up to me to bring a wide variety of options to talk to the client about so that they have a great understanding of what's out there so that we can put together the best possible income plan in retirement that gives them the best probability of success. That's our job. That's our passion. That's what we look forward to doing. That's why we talk about these things on a radio program and we talk about them in person. So give us a call, 616-301-2581, 616-301-2581, or go to our website, www.cornerstone-rp.com, and we'll get in touch with you.
I'd be willing to imagine and bet, Ron, that there have been times in your career somebody may have come to you with some dollars they wanted to invest, and after looking at their total financial picture and situation, with that fiduciary responsibility, your suggestion was actually to kind of go elsewhere and look at other priorities with that money rather than investment, maybe pay off debts, maybe just build up a savings account, not necessarily things that were investment related directly.
You know, that happens more often than we would imagine. A lot of times we'll meet with people for the first time and they have the beginning of an income plan and investment plan, but it's not complete. There's holes in that plan. They may not have a big enough emergency fund. I'm a big believer that you need to have some money somewhere that you can go get in the middle of the night if you needed it. They may not have protected their assets well enough. They may not have the right kind of health insurance. And in our company, health insurance planning is a key part of what we do to help people. It's really important. So we go through a lot of the different options available, but it really gets down to in the beginning part of saying, where are you? What is it you want your money to do? What are we going to try to accomplish? And given that, does your current situation, does your current plan match up to that? Because it's always about finding holes in the plan, finding things that we didn't think about, finding things that, oh, that would be a good idea, or, oh, that's not a good idea. It's all about really having just a wide open discussion and laying everything out kind of on the table and saying, if you had to retire today, are you going to be okay? And no matter how you answer that, it's a great answer, because if you are okay, bless you. But if you're not okay, we can be of help to you. We can help close some of those loopholes that are out there, some of those little places where money leaks out. We can help do that. So give us a call at 616-301-2581, 616-301-2581, or go to our website, www.cornerstone-rp.com, and we'll get in touch with you and we'll help you any way we can.
Ron, over the course of this program, this discussion about annuities, I think that you have done a very fair job of laying out that there are pros and cons, advantages and disadvantages, benefits and drawbacks to every kind of financial instrument. We've focused the conversation around annuities, but kind of just to sum it up here in the last minute or two of the program, can you tell us what you think annuities do a good job of, where if these are our goals, they are appropriate to be in consideration, and then on the other side of that, where annuities are lacking or where they are not strong, where they should not be considered for our money and our dollars?
Okay, I got to split that in half.
Sure.
What are they doing? Where do they work really well?
Yeah.
If you want simply another market option that gives you the potential to create permanent income, a variable annuity might be the proper approach for you. If you are good with market exposure, market risk, but you're down thinking, you know what, I want to ultimately be able to drive lifetime income. What doesn't that do well? It doesn't protect your principal. It's that simple. It's a market-based thing. Markets go up, markets go down. And we've been blessed to have nice markets here over the last decade. But that wasn't always true in the decade previous to that. So that's kind of where does a variable annuity fit? If you're a market-based investor and you just want to move some of your money and keep it in the market, but have that income option, a variable annuity might be appropriate. What's the downside? Same as all annuities. There's surrender costs to it. It has higher fees that you can see. You pay for some of that insurance that you can get, but it may be appropriate. The fixed annuity, which is a substitute for bank money, not for the market. It's a substitute for bank money. What it does well, it protects your principal. You can't lose money in it. Number two, it can be created in a way to give you increasing income, just like a variable annuity, over a period of time, but it'll never, never go to zero because you've lost money, because you can't lose money. What else does it do well? It gives you peace of mind. It's the principal protected foundational structure part of anybody's portfolio. You can have 100% risk in your portfolio. You can have less than 100% risk. It just depends on what makes you feel better. But the markets go up, the markets go down. So the fixed annuity, the principal protected one, is a way to have a little bit of growth from interest increases, but to give you income, hopefully on an increasing basis that you can't outlive. And here's the other advantage. You can create that kind of income plan without doing that annuitization thing where you give all the money away to the insurance company. It's always an option, but you can do that. Generally with variable annuities, you have to annuitize them to get the income. So that means you lose total control over that. So those are some of the basic differences and where they fit. Do they fit for everybody? I have no idea. But give us a call, 616-301-2581, or go to our website, www.cornerstone-rp.com. Put your information in there. We can help you figure out if it fits or doesn't fit. That's what we do as fiduciaries. What's out there? What will work for you? What do you need? What do you want your money to do? And does it fit you as a person? So give us a call, 616-301-2581. We're more than willing to help you.
As always, a great conversation with Ron Corser, CFP, certified financial planning professional and founder there at Cornerstone Retirement Partners. If you've got questions or concerns on any type of money-related issue or question, your investments, your retirement, your planning, pick up the phone and give a call, 616-301-2581, 616-301-2581, or visit the website cornerstone-rp.com. That is 616-301-2581 or cornerstone-rp.com. Lots of fantastic resources available there as well. Ron, we always appreciate your guidance and perspective here on the program.
Well, this has been fun. This is one of the things I'm passionate about, trying to figure out how to give people the income they need in retirement. So bless all of you. Have a great Sunday, and we'll see you next week.
Tune into Cornerstone Retirement Partners' full radio program, Your Course to Retirement, Sunday mornings at 9 o'clock at News Radio WOOD, or visit cornerstone-rp.com for many valuable resources, including those mentioned on this show and other great episodes of Your Course to Retirement.
The content of this radio show is provided for informational purposes only and is not a solicitation or recommendation of any investment strategy. You are encouraged to seek investment, tax, or legal advice from an independent professional advisor.
Ed Slott's Elite IRA Advisor Group is solely an indication that the financial advisor has attended training provided by Ed Slott and Company, passed biannual examinations on material covered at conferences and in webinars, and met other membership requirements, and does not constitute an endorsement of any kind. Ed Slott's Elite IRA Advisor Group members pay a fee for the educational programs that allow them to be included in the Ed Slott's Elite IRA Advisor Group. Membership does not guarantee investment success. Fiduciary duty extends solely to investment advisory advice and does not extend to other activities such as insurance or broker-dealer services.
Advisory services offered through Brookstone Capital Management, a registered investment advisor.
Advisory clients are charged a quarterly fee for assets under management, while insurance products pay a commission, which may result in a conflict of interest regarding compensation.
Any investments and/or investment strategies mentioned involve risk, including the possible loss of principal. Any comments regarding safe and secure investments and guaranteed income streams refer only to fixed insurance products. They do not refer in any way to securities or investment advisory products. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals or growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the products featured